Bam! She gets sent to the ground as a reward. Upstairs, young Vince freezes. Seeing his father's New York Jets bowling bag in the threshold of his parents' bedroom, he considers it as downstairs. Dick is winded from his effort, belligerent now, seated on the radiator cover, eyeballing Sheila on the floor. You don't fucking do it. Don't get up, all right? You fucking asked for it. His hand reaches for something leaning against the radiator, a baseball bat. Big Dick, this is not my fucking fault. You did this. And just as he begins to rise, Big Dick looks up in time to see his New York Jets bowling ball drop from the hands of his son, plummeting from 2 stories up. And bam, it lands with a sickening crack on his head. Big Dick hits the floor. So does the Jets ball, blood soaking both, neither moving. The only sound, just that soulful song playing incongruously as now Sheila looks up at young Vince, terror on his face. Dude,
Mm.
insane. What are your thoughts? Like when you got the sides, what were you thinking? Or when you got
Yeah,
the job, what were you thinking? It's crazy.
yeah, I mean, so I just realized that I meant to send you, another thing as well, which was the original sides,
Yeah.
which were, um let me see if I can pull them up real quick. But so,
Because we
what
were
were
when
you
we were reading through it and we were like, the fight on that we saw in the show was
Mhm.
so much more brutal than this.
Mhm.
Except
Yeah,
we don't remember a baseball bat in the scene,
right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, and if I may, I
Yeah,
wanna go back I wanna go to even further back,
sure.
the
Let's do it.
original OG audition sides, and I'll just read this real quick.
Yeah, please do.
I'll skip past the initial interrogation, but, it says, um, Sheila says, they have this interaction, and then wham, he slaps her. Uh, she swallows it accustomed, but it startles young Vince at the top of the stairs. He notices, he sees the bowling ball. Big Dick. We move to another POV, and then he's this reputation stuff. Wham! He hits her again, and then originally, I don't know if I should say this or not. Actually, um, it changed.
Well,
Needless to
it
s-
always changes. It always tell us. You don't have to read it, but tell us what was the flavor of the original edition compared to
it was just violence, and it
the.
was it was much more contained.
Mm,
And it was like it didn't even describe much of what you read there,
right.
which kind of came from working with our fight coordinator Tracy, who was awesome.
We love
And
Tracy. We know Tracy very well. She's
yeah,
super cool.
she was great watching her
Tracy
throw herself
Ruggiero.
around,
Yeah.
and she was awesome. And then we both had our stunt doubles. What my guy's name was, I want to say Zoltan,
Oh yeah.
Zoltan, Zoltan, and Kara. Um,
Cara Rosella.
yep,
Yep. 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 We know them both. Great people.
yeah, yeah, super sweet, and really, uh, yeah, just nice. And so we kind of like we were in the space that we shot at was not on in the studio location. It was an actual house that like had been untouched for years. So I mean the location looked incredible.
Wow.
It was perfect for that. And so you go in there and you just kind of you have an idea in your head, or the writers, showrunners, Zach and Kate, who um you know, they did a great job of, like, really painting what they needed. And then, I mean, it was, the series, I could go on and on with the superlatives that of their series, and talk all about them. But, the really cool thing I felt like was when we got in there, and it was, Tracy and everyone else, and then along with that, Justin, the director, who's got this wealth of experience,
That's
working
Justin
on
Kurzel. Just so people listening
sorry,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Justin Kurzel, yeah. So, and he had just worked with, Zach, Balin, the one of the showrunners, and Jude Law on this film called The Order.
Oh,
Um,
love that movie.
which
Mhm.
Great movie, great flick. Jude Law's got a walrus mustache. Um, but the so he also did this incredible film called Nitram. And he's got this great filmography of films, essentially where it's like the well, the way I describe it's kind of like making of a monster, like going
Mhm.
inside of how people become the way they are, and these
Right.
really awful. That one's happens to be a mass shooting, the last mass shooting in New Zealand or in sorry, in Australia. But so essentially, they all got together and they were talking about like originally in the OG script, which is what I was trying to get to. It was very short, and it
Mhm.
was short, and I want to say if memory serves, it ended with young Vince picking up the bowling ball and swinging it as I'm down on the ground with her and
Mm.
hitting me in the head with it. And
Not
so
dropping it. Yeah.
and not dropping it, but they had the location so they see, all right, 3 stories up. He's got this kind of perfect vantage point.
Yeah.
And the way they had the radiator there, and they kind of worked on and I remember showing up on the day before rather, the rehearsal day with the fight choreo and seeing them go through it with, Tracy and Zoltan, all of them, and being like, "Oh, wow, this is not what was written." Like,
Yeah.
it was, like, very violent, and trying to go with, like, where the dialogue would go in, and
Mhm.
then where, like, story-wise, the story beats that would all work. It
Sure.
was really like this dance, and I think the thing that we were really working on was, obviously keeping it safe, but also, like, what is like, fighting that stereotype of it just being, like, drunk asshole who comes in and beats on his wife. And so that's why we got to actually, speaking of dances, got to do the dance before, got
Right.
to see like these kind of moments of love, this back and forth. And what you read was several drafts in because it used to be
Sure.
a shorter, a much quicker scene. And I think the really cool thing was that Zach and Kate rewrote some things as we were like improvising the day before, kind of going through it. And it was all this big, real big collaboration where it was like, there was supposed to be some violence, and then this other talk, the part about the reputation and being being a player
Mhm.
all around town, and that was supposed to come after some violence had already happened, and
Right.
it kind of the team realized very quickly, like, this does when the violence starts, that's what it is. And there might be some shouts, there might be some fucks, there might be some,
Right.
some screams and things, but you aren't stopping to have a conversation at that point.